Calxiyn and Hunter here, and today I have spoken to the Fates and the one other person who has this theory in Arnold's Discord server who is as smart as I am, and we have figured out the ending to RWBY Volume 9, okay? And I'm very excited to present this to you guys because I think that we have cracked it. I think that I know and that one other person, we both know. We're the only ones who know how the story's gonna end.
And now we're sharing the knowledge with you.
And knowing is half the battle.
I haven't seen anyone else say this, so I'm super, super excited. Okay, so this has been a theory that the other individual I'm talking about has had at least since last episode, but this is something that I sort of stumbled on in the most recent episode because I noticed, I understand, and this is not to villainize Team RWBY in any capacity. Please don't come for me on Twitter.com. I'm not trying to say that the girls can't be tired and traumatized and sort of grumpy,
A little grumpy.
But
a little hungry, maybe. Maybe they're
all
hungry.
I'm saying is that actions have consequences, and I think that in this episode, it becomes very apparent that maybe, like, Team RWBY isn't treating people the absolute best that they would usually,
Well,
right?
most of Team RWBY are fine. I think it's just RWBY mostly.
Sort of, but, like, even when they're talking to the herbalist, how RWBY's like, I don't understand why that matters. Like, why do you guys keep asking me this? I'm getting sick of this question. I'm just like, I know that she's traumatized, so it makes perfect sense. It's not poor writing. It makes perfect sense for her character. I just think that it's going to be, like, this action will have consequences later. You know, like in the, what do you call them? The Telltale games when they're like, the butterfly effect signal pops up because of your dialogue choice. I just feel like that Blake even saying like, oh, you know, we can manipulate the cat to lead us there. Even when the herbalist is just asking what they are, because I'm assuming that that has something to do with what he's making. Like it's part of his job and his purpose. He's trying to help. And y'all are just like, I don't care. Like, I think so.
Like RWBY's friends are like 6 inches tall. They could be eaten by an owl
and
or
that's
something.
not to demonize RWBY. It is just
passing
me
predatory
thinking
bird.
that this will come back up later because it's a noticeable trend that they aren't doing things like fairly. Like they didn't bargain with Jinxie. They stole the arm. They sort of played fair with the prince. He kind of like overreacted after, but instead of them calming him down and them trying to reason with him, the cat came and like bailed them out. Like they didn't actually solve the problem. They just used the cat's magic. And then with the herbalist, the cat bails them out again. And also they're not very nice to him and he does not make them the Grogurt parfait. And so with all of this in mind, here's what I've settled on, okay? I think that they are making all the same mistakes that Alyx has because they mentioned a couple episodes ago that Alyx like cheated and lied and stole and to survive or whatever. They basically quote the Roman Torchwood dialogue, right? And I think that that's actually going to come back up later on. Like when they finally get to the tree and the tree has the portals back to Remnant or whatever, however they're getting home, the tree's gonna be like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't like your tone, Missy.
I don't like how you guys got here. So actually, you're gonna go back.
I don't think you were being very nice to those service employees.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that if
that we're stalling for time when your friends were small and vulnerable.
If the tree
that tree is
has
an asshole.
Some sentience in some capacity, and like whoever has the power to send them home, I think they're gonna try, and it's not going to work because they didn't do. I don't want to say correctly because I don't think there's a correct way to tell the story, but they're making all the same mistakes that Alyx did. So I think that we're gonna get to like episode 8 or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing. We're gonna get to like episode 8 late in the season. They're finally at the tree. We think that everything, you know, they're finally getting home. Maybe we'll see Vacuo, and the tree's just like, yeah, but like, I don't think that you should be allowed to go home.
I think that flick him right back to the beginning.
Exactly, and I think that the same thing happened to Alyx because Blake asked, she learned her lesson, right? And the cat's like, sure, in a matter of speaking. And so I wonder if what's going to happen is they're going to get there and realize that Alyx never actually left. She just gave up. Like, she could not change her ways. She couldn't do things differently because it was just in her nature to kind of, I don't know, behave poorly or like behave the way that she was behaving. And so Alyx eventually, again, we think that Alyx turned into the rabbit or something. She eventually succumbed because she could never change. She never learned the errors of her ways. In fact, is it possible that the last time that Alyx went through the story, she majorly fucked up shit on purpose because she was angry? Because we do see this location where Neo is, and it's like this wasteland, and it looks like there used to be signs or something, and that maybe there used to be people there, but it's all decrepit and sort of,
kingdom.
you know, a fallen kingdom. So, like, what if Alyx was like, okay, well, if you're not letting me go home, then I'm gonna burn this place to the ground. Like, she had that sort of mentality, and that's why the king regressed into the prince and everything. Like, she actually antagonizes the king on purpose. Like, she goes to war. She does all of these things to basically cause as much trouble as possible because she's so angry. She doesn't understand why the tree just won't let her go home. And that works as a very nice sort of parallel to Salem, because Salem never learned her lesson and had to continue walking the face of the earth until she
Alyx
does.
And
Alyx is in the exact same situation where she never learns her lesson. And so now, Team RWBY, they have to break the cycle. They have to go back to the beginning of the story, and they actually have to bargain with Jinxie instead of stealing the sword and everything. And then after that, they have to let the king, like, let the prince win and try to help him turn back into a king instead of being like the child brat, the prince. They actually have to listen to the herbalist this time. And then whatever happens in the other episodes, we don't know about yet.
I understand where the idea of this is coming from. However, don't you think that would be a little, like, Rocky montage of them going back and, like, helping everyone, you know?
Yes!
It would be like, da, 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 and it's just like, you need to grow up and be more mature, da, 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 da. Like, I'm sorry, whatever questions you want, Mr. Giant Caterpillar. Little, we shouldn't take you out of your house. You should stay here with your people.
But they could do it in an interesting way. Like, they could do it like how when Cinder asked Jin the question, they went sort of scene by scene by scene, and there could be nice, like, music. It doesn't need to be rocky. It can be sort of like, almost like, what if the way they presented Hunter is they show Team RWBY in the storybook? Like, they show 2D Team RWBY, and they show them, like, hand-drawn, bargaining with Jinxie, and then playing the game with the king, and they show it in an actual, like, 2D storybook, like, hand-drawn type way. And that's how we save kind of the Rocky montage, is that we actually see them go through the actual story, like, 2D paper version
I don't know,
of the
that
story.
might piss me. I feel like that might piss people off.
No, I kind of like that. And then they get back to the tree, and they're allowed to go home. And so I kind of like it too, because, like, say that Alyx is still in the world somewhere. If they can teach Alyx the lesson and help Alyx break the cycle, who's to say that they can't do that with Salem? And that's how it connects back into the main plot line with Salem. It's like Alyx is kind of like Little Salem. Alyx is like Volume 9 Salem.
Little
if they
Salem.
can take Alyx back to the beginning of the story and go with her through the story and teach her, like, how to actually do things and almost help, like, redeem Alyx in a sense, they can all go home. Like, they can all go home. And that is the equivalent to breaking Salem's curse. It's like, if they can help Alyx change, even though she's been here for, like, who knows how long and said, fuck the world or whatever, maybe they can go back and apply what they've learned to Salem. And that's how this volume can actually have, like, connective tissue into the next one. It's because they already taught sort of an immortal being who never grew up, like Alyx, if we think that she's gone through the story multiple times, they've already taught her how to change. So maybe they can teach Salem how to change.
Salem how to
well,
change
that would be a little...
Oh, that
Alex
would be
is,
ridiculous.
No, because Alyx is a brand new character, so I feel like that's taking the spotlight from Team RWBY a little bit too much.
Fair.
But I feel like that this makes a lot of sense. What do you think, Hunter? I think it does. I kind of like it, especially because there is narration at the very beginning of the volume, so you kind of get that impression that they're actually inside a story.
Yes, you are correct with that. You're so excited about this. I mean, possibly. I just feel like it would be a little. I worry it would be a little Rocky-ish, and then I feel like them doing the flip book would feel a little bit gimmicky or perhaps tonally weird.
Maybe I'm gimmicky. I don't know what to say. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe I
am a gimmick.
Maybe I am cheesy.
Maybe I am
the problem.
But no, and so, like, it's fine. It just, I feel like it would really also, like, cut the momentum, because what I like about this volume is that there's a lot of forward momentum of, like, oh, more and more, like, weird stuff happening.
But we've already seen them go through it once. Okay, I understand what you're saying, Hunter, but I feel like that if they have already gone through the entire volume, it'll be okay. You know what I mean? Because they already did get forward to the end. It's just that they have to go back to the beginning, and they don't want to show the viewers all the same stuff all over again.
I mean, I just don't know how to run the gauntlet between like, this is brief and new enough and punchy enough for it to not feel like you're just doing the same thing over again. It doesn't feel like it's dragging or redundant, while also trying to avoid the Rocky montage problem.
Yeah.
And I worry that's going to be very difficult to like skirt.
What if they tell it like a story, like it's narrated by Alyx? So, like, this is a story of a girl who had a lot of problems, but one day she met a group of people who also had a lot of problems. Like, what if she actually narrates her and Team RWBY going through the new story together, and that's kind of the closing back to the tree? Would that be better?
Maybe.
Okay.
I do like the idea.
That's for the writers to figure out, by the way. Like, even if it's bad, I'm not saying that it's good. I'm saying it's gonna happen. Those are two different
I do
things.
like the idea of Alyx, like, right at the end of the volume, Alyx having this, like, little monologue about, like, their story and everything. And I don't know what that would be like. I don't know if that monologue would relate to her story or RWBY's story, or how her story relates to Team RWBY's story, or Team RWBY doing it over again. I don't know, but that
I think it would be Team RWBY doing it again with her.
Okay.
I think that that's kind of how I see it, would be that she's telling the story again, but because she had the power of friendship, now, like, things will be different. I don't know. Just something like that. That's sort of how I'm imagining it, is that Alyx, even if Alyx is the rabbit, they go with Alyx back to the beginning of the story, and maybe that also, like, does some time change fuckity-wuckity, and, like, going back in time actually reverts Alyx back into a person instead of being the rabbit, because we think that she's the rabbit because she lost herself. But what if she's there with Team RWBY? Maybe she could find herself again. Also, I hate to be that person, but I think it's pretty obvious how this could be connected as, like, a layer of a metaphor when you combine Neo as well, because if Alyx is a lot like Neo and they help Alyx get through the story and not do the bads anymore, like, maybe that will also, there's also a layer where Neo could also be involved in that somehow, right? Like, I think that that's interesting. Like, if Alyx can be redeemed and she did all this bad shit, like, can Neo also be redeemed? Like, can they teach Neo the same way that they teach Alyx? And maybe they get through to Neo first, and that's what gives them the idea that they can teach Alyx the lesson, right? Because I sort of imagine this,
I feel like
Alyx
is easier to make an argument, like, to teach a lesson to than Neo.
It depends on what Alyx did when she was here. We don't know, right?
But, like, I don't know. Neo was a terrorist.
Right, but we
Neo
just don't
killed
know.
her parents.
We don't know.
Alyx,
we don't know what Alyx has going on.
Alyx
you know
maybe pissed off a handful of people. We've all done that.
But imagine this, okay? Just come with me for a second, okay?
Sure.
Next episode, they get to the boathouse thing. Okay,
Right.
that's episode 5. Episode
Layer K.
6, the Jabberwocky fight happens, and, like, Neo is controlling the Jabberwocky, like they think.
Sure.
They subdue Neo, somehow. I'm not sure about that.
They kick Neo's ass.
They kick Neo's ass a little bit, like, just a
little bit.
Maybe the cat helps. The cat, like, does that thing where the cat placates her heart, and so they calm her down, and then they go back to the herbalist's place, okay? And they're like, okay, let's get Neo under control. So they give her some drugs. All right. So then episode 7
They throw her in a
episode 7 or episode 8 is like the Neo flashback backstory that everybody think is gonna happen. All right. And so then, like, after, like, Neo goes through her own, like, other self flashback story situation, I don't know what happens after that. I'm not saying they're gonna redeem Neo this volume, but anyway,
I
it
love
doesn't
how
matter.
you started this with a kind of, like, reasonable proposition, and then, like most things in your life, Neo gets thrown in and you absolutely shoot for the moon and stop making sense.
Okay, so then, like, Neo takes the caterpillar drugs, okay?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, changes or something happens, all right? And so they all go together to the tree, okay?
Yeah.
And so then
Full
the tree
team.
tells them no.
One big gay pride parade
Exactly.
up into the tree.
So then the tree is like, LOL, no, go back to the beginning. And so then, like, Team RWBY is like, okay, well, if we can get Neo to change, we can do this again. Like, we can do this again and get Alyx to change. And so they go, like, look for Alyx, or maybe they've already found Alyx at this point, because I'm assuming that Alyx is gonna pop up soon, somewhere in between all of this outline that I've made. So then they go get Alyx, and they're like, Alyx, like, we're going back to the beginning. Like, come with us, and, like, we can, like, all tell a new story together. And so Neo and Team RWBY, and also I guess Jean should be involved in this somehow. Anyway, anyway, they all go back to the beginning of the story, and like that's the metaphor, and then they go to the tree, and then the tree lets them all go home. And that's what happened.
And that's what I did on my summer vacation.
Exactly, and that's what we did last summer. All right, so yeah, that's kind of how I sort of see things going in my head a little roughly.
In my head.
This concept, this is how-
The voices in my head, they tell me about Neo and Alyx.
But yeah, like, that draws a very nice parallel between Alyx and Salem and Alyx and Neo, and like, if Team RWBY can redeem Alyx, they can also redeem Neo, ? And like, they can change the story. And I think that's it. This is a lot longer
Sure.
than I wanted this video to be because we've started talking about Neo. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had fun. Do you have anything else to add, Hunter?
Not a goddamn thing.
Okay, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye! Hunter, you have to put this down. They can hear it, Hunter. Sorry.
What else can I fiddle with? Oh, maybe the loud water bottle.
Oh my God.